Happy Sunday. It's all Legal2 viewers. Welcome to another episode of Sunday Sessions. I am your host, Janine Hubble-Cox, and we're just waiting for some followers to come on in and join us. We're switching it up just a little bit tonight. You know, over the past few weeks, I have had on a guest and we've talked about a specific topic and also, as always, talked about entrepreneurship. But tonight I decided I'm going to let my viewers be my guest tonight. Open discussion. Pretty much anything that deals with any legal issues, social issues, or just any other issues that happen to be on your mind that pertain to what's going on, in the world. They are all fair game tonight. And we're just going to wait for a few more followers to come in. Hope everybody is staying healthy, staying safe, and, just trying to spread some knowledge, make a difference in this world. That's the whole purpose of my platform. Keith Lockup, hello, welcome to Sunday Sessions. So glad you could join us. We're just going to wait for a few more people to come in. Keith, tell me where you are logging in from. Gia Cox joined in. Hello, Gia. Welcome to Sunday Sessions. Thank you, as always, for your support. Like I said, tonight we're just going to switch it up a little bit. I had a kind of a crazy weekend. Moved my son into college. He is starting his freshman year at LSU. So kind of had a busy weekend. So I really didn't have time to prepare much. As far as getting a guest on, so, oh, hey, what's up, Keith Montgomery, my big brother from Youngstown, Ohio. Sorry, I can't see the pictures, they're so small, my bad. Thank you so much for joining in. Hello. So, as I was saying, I just, wanted to, try to reach out to my viewers and, see if there's anything that they wanted to discuss tonight. If they had any questions, anything like that. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Just blame it on the brain, not on the heart. So as I was saying, just gonna do like a real informal deal tonight. Lot has gone on this week in this world. We had the first Black female who was nominated to be vice president. Joe Biden's running mate for vice president. So really excited about that. Unfortunately, these pandemic numbers, these COVID numbers are still on the rise. And, there seems to be no end in sight to that anytime soon, unfortunately. There's talk about, election stuff going on as far as the Postal Service not having the capacity to possibly handle mail-in, ballots. So, there's just a lot going on in this world. I just want to lay down a few house rules, though, as to, how this is going to work. I'm not going to tolerate or deal with any disrespects on any level. There will be no female bashing, no male bashing, no racism of any kind. We're going to respect everybody. This is a no judgment zone, but it's this platform is meant to be a conduit, to spread information from a legal perspective, from a lawyer's perspective about legal issues and social issues that are affecting everybody, in this country, especially today. You guys may not realize it, but just about everything that goes on in this country, in this world, either has some type of legal base to it or is some type of legal repercussions. So, my purpose is to just try to not only practice the law, because I am an attorney, but I also want to talk about the law, talk about how the law affects all of us. So, those are the ground rules. Everything is open. So I'm inviting my viewers to come on in and join. So if you see a request button and there's something that you want to talk about, if there's something that's been on your mind, just, request to join. Or if you have a question, just type it in the comment section and we can just, build a discussion around that, or I can try to answer the question. Whatever works for you all. So I have Benita Reed in the house. Hey, Benita. My team member, Mike. Plush Work. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in, my brother. Always happy to see you. Hey, Benita. So like I said, this is your night. This is the night of my viewers. So I'm here to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Hey, Mike. Like I said, if you want to join in, if you want to have a live discussion with me, just hit the request to join button or just type a comment in the section. If you have a question, a comment, something that, I can touch on, let me know. I need questions. I want feedback. Thank you, Mike. I'm so proud of you too, my brother. Always appreciate the encouragement. Just a little bit of background about me. I know my viewers see me, come on Sundays, and, I have a couple of interviews that I've done that are posted, but I just want to give a little background about myself. So, again, my name is Janine Hovell-Cox. I am an attorney. I practice in the Houston, Texas area. I've been practicing for 23 years. My areas of practice are business litigation, creditors' rights. I'm delving into the area of entertainment law as well now, and I do also handle civil rights cases. So I've been, having this vision for, quite some time to, like I said, just start this platform just to bring awareness, from a lawyer's perspective about legal issues that affect us every day. We have Chocolate Curvaceous that's joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Like I said, tonight is my viewers' night. My viewers are my guests. So if you want to get on, if there's something that you want to talk about, if you have a question, or just, want to vent, push the request button and let's talk. That's the whole purpose of my platform. Well, at least for tonight, as always. But again, you guys are my guests tonight. Hey, Mike. So I just want to kind of share, some things that have been going on with me. Have you heard anything about the Breonna Taylor case? Oh, Mike, that's a good question. It's sad to say it's been 100, and I can't remember. I don't know if it's been like 158 days, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but unfortunately, there still have been no arrests of the officers that were involved in the killing or murder of Breonna Taylor. No arrests, no charges. I know that Until Freedom, they have been doing a tremendous job and effort as far as ongoing protest and just bringing, continuing to bring awareness to the fact that Breonna Taylor's killers, basically murderers, still have not been arrested. I know it's crazy. It's just kind of perplexing to me that because this murder of this EMT, a woman who, gave her life to serving others and try to save other people's lives, was senselessly gunned down in her own apartment as a result of a no-knock warrant. And I have been trying to bring light to that topic also about no-knock warrants. So let me just explain, the best I can about no-knock warrants. Basically, before a law enforcement officer can go to, your residence or somewhere that they believe there is, illegal criminal activity going on, they have to get what's called a search warrant. Usually that is issued by a judge, by the court. And most of the time they have to knock before they enter. But, and I'm not a criminal attorney, so I'm just, going off of basics. So again, this is just my basic knowledge of criminal law. I know that there have been a few instances where officers have been able to get warrants where they do not have to knock before they go in. Basically, they can just go ram the door down and try to execute the warrant. So in Breonna Taylor's case, unfortunately, she was the subject and it was mistaken identity because she was not even the target of the search warrant to begin with, but she was the victim of a no-knock warrant. There is another young man whose case is now being brought to light, James Scott Reed, and a friend and classmate of mine, Daryl Washington, is representing the family of Mr. Reed. Yes, they are a violation, actually. Thank you, Nick Bezell. Yeah, who's representing the family of Mr. Scott, who was also the subject of a no-knock warrant. And, you know, I know that there have been other states who have recently ruled that no-knock warrants, you know, they can't happen anymore. And my position is that every single state needs to ban or remove the ability for law enforcement to get no-knock warrants, because we've seen too much in the news lately where these no-knock warrants have ended up with innocent victims, innocent people being murdered because they weren't even the subject of the warrant itself. So yes, James Scott, and there we have it. We have Mr. Reed's attorney on right now, Daryl Washington. Hello, my friend. And he can probably explain, you know, more about the no-knock warrants. Let's see if he can. Let's see. Hey, Daryl, if you have time, can you hit the request to join? Sorry, y'all. Somebody tried to call me, and I thought I had silenced my calls. Marvin Guy. Oh, Nick Bezell also said that Marvin Guy also was killed by the Killeen PD. Okay, thank you. Daryl said he'll be on in 5 minutes. Hey, Nick, if you're available for about 5 minutes, can you come on? Are you able to come on and you know, talk to us live about that and shed some light on Marvin Guy's issue? And I mean, there's been some issues with Killeen PD lately. So, you know, we need to definitely make noise about that. We have another question from my boy Mike. Do you have any insight on the Elijah McClain case once you wrap up this conversation? Unfortunately, there have been no arrests. I don't think that have been made in in Elijah McClain's case. And Mike, will come back to that because Nick is asked to join and he can shed some light on the Marvin Guy matter for a few moments. Let's see. We're just waiting for Nick to come on in and join me. But Mike, yeah, we're definitely going to address that because there's another instance of some foolishness basically going on with the police department, police brutality, but we're going to come back to that. Nick, welcome to Sunday Sessions. How are you, my brother?
Great. How you doing today?
I am well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. But I saw, I think earlier today you had posted about James Scott Reed, so I started following you. So our team, the Black Collective here in Central Texas, we work with James Scott Reed's family. We work with Javier Ambler's family. And
Okay.
we've been trying to get in touch with Marvin Guy's family. So Marvin Guy actually wasn't killed by Killeen.
Okay.
What actually happened, he was served a no-knock warrant back in 2014. They were looking for drugs. So they went to his home. Marvin Guy actually exercised his Second Amendment right
Okay.
for this no-knock warrant. He killed one of the SWAT officers that went to his home. And when they went to his home, after he killed one of those SWAT officers for exercise, executing that no-knock warrant, they didn't find drugs in Marvin Guy's home. So that's part of the reason why we have to get no-knock warrants banned, because they can just take anything that they get from anybody, some informant that wants $20, and say, hey, this guy has drugs in his house. They get a judge to sign off on it.
Right.
They go kick at a guy's front door, and then the guy's exercising the Second Amendment right, because it's Texas. It's stand your ground, castle doctrine, right? He shoots and kills a SWAT officer. Marvin Guy has been locked up in Bell County for 6 years. He hasn't even been to trial yet. And I'm gonna show
Wait,
you
he's been locked up for 6 years and no trial.
no trial,
Is
no
he,
trial, but
does he have representation, a
it,
private attorney, public defender? What's his representation?
nothing. We had started trying to. So originally we got on working with the Ambler family, and then
Javier Ambler, yes. And
right,
I've been
and
following his case too and
okay.
posting about that as well.
So then we ended up with them because Jamaica Reed and Kimberly Ambler, they started working together based on their brothers' situations. And as I
Right.
started looking at, as I started looking at James Scott Reed's case, uh, Marvin Guy's case ended up popping up through my research. And so what I
Okay.
discovered was 7 months prior to Marvin Guy's case, there was a white gentleman in Texas. This isn't an apples to oranges comparison. This is an apples to apples comparison. Watch where I'm going with this. This
Okay.
white gentleman, same thing. No knock warrant served in his home looking for drugs. He exercised his Second Amendment right, killed one of the police officers that came into his home. They did find drugs in this white gentleman's home, but they declined to prosecute him or take him to trial for murder, capital murder. The grand jury declined the case for murder on a police officer from this white gentleman. Then 7 months later, Marvin Guy's situation happened. The grand jury decided they wanted to prosecute him for capital murder on this police officer. So it's an apples to apples comparison.
Wow.
Exact same situation.
Right.
Two gentlemen in their home served no knock warrants, looking for drugs. Both killed a police officer. The white man got off for the murder
They
charge. The
decided
black
not
man is
to
still sitting there.
prosecute.
Exactly.
Wow.
So you can clearly see the
That's amazing.
discrepancy. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
I
mean
mean,
that's
this
where
is
we're
an
at.
ongoing issue. Right. This is
Right.
an ongoing issue. There's just an unequal, basically application of the law. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like you see it every single day. And like I said, thank you for bringing Mr. Guy's case to light.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Because there are so many, Javier Amblers and Mr. Guys and, all of these other individuals whose cases don't get any type of media recognition.
Right.
And, it takes someone like yourself to look into it in order to bring this to light. I
Right.
mean, and if you can inbox me, sir, your information and
Right.
some additional information about Mr. Guy's case, because I definitely want to, post or, follow that, bring that to light, see whatever kind of support that we can get regarding that.
Yeah, I appreciate
Absolutely.
that. Yeah. Also on September 5th, we'll be in Bell County for James Scott Reed and his family. They're having a rally there. So our team will be there on September 5th in Bell County. And
Okay.
on September 26th, we're having a Second Amendment Unity Walk in Austin, which will be presenting the Javier Ambler Camera Act, the black lawmakers here in the state of Texas. And we'll also be getting them, as you know, we have a whole black agenda where
Right.
we want to get no-knock warrants banned in the state of Texas. We want
Okay.
immunity, qualified immunity,
Qualified
taken
immunity,
away,
right?
right?
Taken
Taken
away,
away from police.
because that's
Yeah,
one of the issues that why these
right,
officers are not held accountable. And I keep
right,
saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it, and I'm going to keep preaching it, that until these officers start being held accountable for these actions, we're not going to see any change, unfortunately.
no, because it gives them a pass to just execute people, and not be held responsible. You know, we see that with the two sheriffs with the Javier Ambler case. You know, they executed this guy for ratings, for TV ratings, is what it comes down to, because they did it in front of a camera crew for live PD, for A&E television, and that's why they killed Javier Ambler. They did it for the ratings.
Right. And for all of you all who aren't familiar with Mr. Ambler's case, I believe that Mr. Ambler had a heart condition. Is that
Yeah,
correct? That
yeah,
he
he did.
informed the officers about. They just ignored
Exactly.
it. Mr. Ambler told the officers that he could not breathe. They just ignored it.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
like with George Floyd. Like, I
And,
mean, this kind of these senseless murders and the type of actions that these officers continue to take have to be stopped. It just makes no sense. So just
absolutely.
real quick, can you tell us where in Bell County the the protest for Mr. Reed is going to be taking place? You said on September the 5th, correct?
It'll be September the 5th. I'm not sure if it's going to be. I have to
Okay.
get the exact details, and I can inbox you from Jamaica Reed. She'll give us the exact details. I think it's going to be in the city of Belton, which is the county seat for Bell County, I
Okay.
believe.
All
But,
right.
but then on September 26th, when we all get together, we'll be meeting at the George Washington Carver Center, which is in East Austin, which is actually about a mile from the state capitol and the governor's
Okay.
mansion. So it'll be an armed Second Amendment unity walk because again, we're talking about people like Marvin Guy exercising their Second Amendment rights. James Scott Reed, the whole situation where they said that he had a firearm in his house, but he would have
And
been
he
well within
didn't.
his right. Yeah, but
If
he
he
would have been
did,
well within his right. Exactly. And that's what it's
right.
about. It's about, black people with firearms have been taboo for so long. And we're just trying to bring awareness to black gun ownership. And so that's part of the reason why we're doing it, because we're trying to get black people, black Americans to exercise their Second Amendment right. And at the same time, as black Americans, we need to be a protected class because it's open, it's hunting season on us
It's
out here.
hunting season,
Yeah.
right?
And so we want to exercise our Second Amendment right as well as peacefully assemble, use our First Amendment right to go out there. And we're not protesting. We're not going out here doing all this protesting. We're showing up with our Second Amendment rights and we're exercising our First Amendment rights. And we're letting them know we're not protesting. We're telling you this is what we want done and this is
Right.
what you need to get done, because you do it for your white constituents when they want something done and they show up with their Second Amendment rights. So we want the same respect. When we show up, we say, hey, this is legit cause that we have
Right.
concerns and we want these laws enacted because we need to be a protected class. And that's exactly what
Exactly.
we're doing. Yeah.
And that's how you go about making change, viewers. Right? People ask me all the time, what can I do? How can we make change? How can we make things stop? Right? So Nick just gave perfect examples of how we can go about doing that. And Nick, can you tell our viewers where they can follow you to get some additional information? And I think we're losing. Oh, yeah. Can you tell us where we can
Yeah.
follow you so we can get additional information and stay up to breast on those, assemblies, basically peaceful assemblies?
Peaceful assemblies. Yeah, right. So you can follow me here on Instagram at Nick Bezel, NickBezel. Same thing on Twitter at the real Nick Bez. And then if you follow, we just started our gun club out here. So if you follow me on Facebook at Nick Bezel.
Uh-oh, Nick, we're losing you, my brother. Hopefully we can get him to join back in soon. Uh-oh, we lost him. I will put a...
All right, yeah, one more time. I think my connection's going
Okay.
in and out. So yes,
Yeah, your connection went
you
bad.
can follow me on
Real quick, one
Facebook
more
at Nick
time.
Bezel. Keeps cutting out.
But we can hear you. That's okay, my brother.
Okay, as long as you can still hear me, yeah. So Nick Bezel
No.
on Instagram
Well, now I can hear you.
and
So
on
real quick.
Facebook. Yeah. Twitter, the real Nick Bez, and the Elmer Geronimo Pratt Pistol and Rifle Club of Central Texas on Facebook. We just started our own gun club. So, and I'll post everything here in the comments, and then I'll inbox you.
Okay,
That way,
perfect.
anybody wants any more information, they can get it. They can follow me. I can let you all know what's going on here in Central Texas.
Perfect. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining in today, and I appreciate so much you following me. If you're enjoying the content on my page, please spread the word. Like I said, it's all about
Yeah,
us
no
all
doubt. Thanks
working
for
together to bring about
having me on
change.
here.
Absolutely. You stay safe, my brother. Talk to you soon. All right. So that was some good information, Nick. Thank you so much for coming on live with me and giving us that information. I'm going to keep my viewers abreast of that. We have my girl Aurora G. Welcome to Sunday Sessions. Hey. So back to my other team member Mike's question regarding Elijah McCain. I know the officers. I don't remember. I don't know exactly what's going on with that case. I don't think that there have been any arrests of those officers. And for all of those of you who just need a fresh reminder, Elijah McCain was the young man that was killed by Aurora County, Colorado Police Department. Basically, he was just walking down the street. He was autistic. Happened to have on a ski mask because he had a blood disorder that kept him cold. The police officers, and Mr. Elijah was not resisting. For whatever reason, the police officers gave him a drug called ketamine, which ended up basically killing him. He should not have been restrained in the first place. He was not, suspected of committing any crime. There was just, I guess, a report that there was an individual who looked suspicious because this young man had on a ski mask. So anyway, like I said, it all goes back to the fact that, there have been too many instances of where, police officers are stopping individuals because they are, suspected of suspicious conduct, and then, detained because of probable cause. And in both of those, scenarios, it seems to be that the reason for the either detainment, arrest, or traffic stop just happens to be because of the color of their skin, which is illegal and unconstitutional, and it has to stop. So Mike, I hope I answered your question regarding Elijah McCain to the best of my abilities. You're welcome. We have 1865 Attire who joined in. Daryl's back. All right, my brother, come on in. We just had a good discussion with Nick Bezel. Oh, and he put the information regarding the Elmer Geronimo Pratt Pistol and Rifle Club of Central Texas. And he's also on Facebook. And unfortunately, on the replay, the comments aren't going to show up. So I will try my best to get that information to him. All right, Daryl, just hit that request button, my brother, so we can get you on in here. And we're going to, you can follow up regarding James Scott Reed also, because we were talking about that. But, as I was saying before, this is a no judgment zone. My page is simply here to bring about awareness, to advocate change, to bring people together for a common cause. So if you are enjoying the content that you are seeing on my page, please continue to follow it at It's All Legal 2. Tell your viewers to also, your friends, your family, whoever you are in contact with, to also follow me too. I would really appreciate it. Like I said, just trying to take the focus off of the practice of law and try to talk about the application of law from a lawyer's perspective. Let's see. I don't know. You don't see the request button. Let me see if I can try to bring you in. Hold on. There you go. Hold on. Oh, it says you're unable to join. Why? Hold on. I don't know. It says that you're unable to join. I don't know why. All right. I'm going to keep trying to get you in. I don't know. Daryl, come out and come back in. For some reason, it's not even letting me allow you to come in for whatever reason. All right. While I'm trying to do that, bad weather in our area. Oh, Benita's in the Dallas, Texas area. So, Daryl, I don't know if that's why, but that shouldn't be the reason of why you can't, because I can get everybody else but you. Hey, Daryl, try to come to leave and then just come back. Let me see if it'll work that way. While we're waiting to try to get Daryl on, do you guys have any other comments? Does anybody want to come on and chit-chat it up? Oh, he has to scroll until he sees the request. Hey, Daryl, Nick said that you have to keep scrolling until you see the request. That's what he had to do, if you can hear me. Okay, let me try to bring him up real quick. All right. We're just going to wait for him to come. Okay. We're going to wait for Daryl to try to come back on. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. So while we're trying to get Daryl back on, you know, does anybody else have any questions, social issues, just anything on your mind that you guys want to talk about this evening? Like I said, this is an open forum. I kind of decided at the last minute, you know, that I was going to, you know, just open this Sunday session up for discussion with my viewers because just kind of had a crazy weekend moving my son in to his college living quarters, so to speak, over the weekend. And so just really didn't have time to get together a discussion with a guest. So we're going to just try to wait and see if Daryl's going to come back on. But I just want to thank all of my viewers and followers out there, you know, for your support of this page. I hope you continue to support it. I'm going to keep having these Sunday sessions. I'm going to try once a week to have, I mean, not once a week, at least once a month to do an open forum like I'm doing this evening, as well as continue to have scheduled guests to talk about specific topics that are either legally based, embedded in the social issues that, you know, are going on in this world today and all that kind of good stuff. I don't know if Daryl's going to be able to come back on. I hope so. So anyway, do any of my other viewers have any other questions, comments? Does anybody else want to get on and chit chat it up with me this evening? I'm just really excited about the Biden-Kamala ticket. I mean, that's big. That's a big deal for African-American women, women of color. Basically, you know, she is a history maker. There has never been an African-American or, you know, woman of color, female that's been on a presidential campaign ticket. So I'm really excited about that. I know there's a lot going on and we definitely need some changes in this country. So I'm trying to see if we have any other questions that have popped up while we are waiting for Daryl to try to get on. I know Benita, who is on DC Reed, said that they are having bad weather in the area. So I don't know if he's going to be able to try to get back on or not. Oh, there he is. Hold on. All right. I think we got him, you guys. I think he's trying to come in. Daryl, we are waiting for you, my brother. Here we go. Hey. What's up, my
What's happening? Am I
friend?
on?
Hey, you know, just another
I
lovely
know
day.
I'm going to have.
COVID paradise. That's what I call it. How are
Janine,
you?
I cannot hear you. I am fine. I'm having horrible reception, so I'm not sure if you can even hear me
I
clear.
can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Perfect. We can hear you too. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I told you you're welcome on this platform anytime, anytime, my brother.
I know. I tell you, I was in here doing some work, and Benita sent me. She tagged me on your page, so I said, let me go ahead and jump in. So.
Hey,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
all family now.
No, exactly. I've never done this on my cell phone. I was trying to do it on my computer, so I don't know why I couldn't get in.
Oh, because I think you can only do lives from your phone.
Oh, okay.
That's why, I mean, I'm still trying to learn this whole technology thing too. I mean, it's just not my deal, but you know, with the help of my lovely children, they're trying to, you know, bring me up to speed. So we were talking, just real quick, we were talking to Nick Mazzell about the James Scott Reed case, and I know you're representing the family on that, on his case. Can you just bring our viewers just kind of up to speed, other than what I have already started sharing on my page about what happened to Mr. Reed? That is just crazy.
I mean, it's past crazy. This was Janine. This was a case where Mr. Reed should have not been killed. Obviously, they indicated that they had to execute a no-knock raid because they were trying to search for drugs. As you know, that is a very dangerous process because
Yep.
it's no reason to execute a no-knock raid when you simply looking for drugs.
Drugs.
Uh,
Right.
the statistics have shown that this places not only the officers' lives in danger, but it places the people who are inside the house in danger. In this case, when the officers appeared at James' house, not only did they not announce themselves, but they immediately started shooting. So it was it was terrible situation because the guy was basically executed inside of his own home. I'm not sure how much you were aware of when they were doing the investigation. They discovered that one of the officers basically lied about what happened, and this officer was prosecuted, and he's no longer a member of the Killeen Police Department. But
Okay.
it's been a problem in Killeen for quite some time.
Right.
Not only in Killeen, we've seen it happen in Houston.
Well, yeah, we have a big case going on with a former officer. I think his last name is Goins, where they had a no-knock warrant drug raid that went haywire, basically. And it was
Correct.
the officer actually who was, basically the criminal that was behind all of this. So yeah, it's been a big deal. The same thing with Breonna Taylor. She was the innocent victim of a no-knock warrant. So I don't even know why no-knock warrants are still even allowed today.
Well, there's a
It's
former city
crazy.
council member. No, it's ludicrous. There's a former city council member who's no longer alive from Killeen, Texas, who basically stated to the Killeen Police Department that they needed to get rid of it immediately because it was just too dangerous to be doing. We
Right.
know that the officers who are executing these no-knock warrants generally don't have the proper training to do so. And it's just a really bad situation. In James Reed's case, just 2 weeks prior to that, he was a victim of a drive-by shooting. And when the officers
Wow.
came to his house to investigate that drive-by shooting, they were the ones who suggested that he got a gun to protect himself and his home. So prior to that time, Mr. Reed did not even own a gun. So for you to have knowledge that this guy was a victim of a drive-by shooting just 2 weeks prior, and to come and execute a no-knock warrant, it just made no sense at all.
Do you have any information about what information they based the request off of to begin with?
They are alleging that there were some drugs in the house.
But I mean, were they tipped off, or were you still trying to get to the bottom of that?
Yeah, I mean, generally with these cases, they have a confidential informant. But again, why are you going to execute a no-knock warrant based
For
on
drugs.
information given to you generally by a felon? A
Right.
confidential informant is someone who's normally been in trouble. So you are going to risk not only your life, but the life of people inside the home based on that information. One of the things we did, Janine, not only in Killeen, but in Fort Worth, Texas, and other areas where we handle these type of cases, is that we have strongly demanded that no-knock warrants be eliminated. So
Right.
just recently in Killeen, the chief of police announced that they were putting a hold on the no-knock warrants. So it has not been totally eliminated, but for
Right.
now, they will not be executing no-knock warrants in Killeen. So that's one step forward, but we would just like to see it just totally eliminated 100%.
Right. I mean, it needs to be done across the board in every single state because I mean, from the media reports that I've, read or seen, that none of these no-knock warrants are valid. They don't ever end up finding the person or, the drugs or whatever it is they're looking for in the places where these warrants are being executed to begin with. It just
Janine,
needs to stop. Uh-oh, you're freezing up, Daryl. Uh-oh. Okay.
back on, I'll connect you back.
Perfect. Okay. We'll definitely get you back on. Oh wait, you're fine now. Well, no, you're fading out. Come back and come back in. All right, so we'll get Daryl back in. And we have the real Sister to Sister 2.0 who's also on with us this evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I love my team. I love my team. Let's see who else we have on. We're waiting for Daryl to come back. Rose Simp, welcome, welcome. Kels DST3, welcome, welcome. My cousin Deborah K. Baker, welcome, welcome to Sunday Sessions. IMP Stewart is also in the house. Willow, let's see. Willon A. Huxtable is also in the house with us tonight. Mr. Rob Meek cannot talk tonight either. Meek Nation 7, welcome, welcome to Sunday Sessions, my brother. Thank you as always for your support of me and this channel and the work that I am trying to accomplish through this platform. So I appreciate the support. You guys logging on every Sunday to join in with me. You know, just trying to do, you know, good work, basically. Hey, Rob. Trying to get in some good trouble, as John Lewis would say. So we're just waiting for Daryl Washington. He's a civil rights attorney in the Dallas area to come back on with us. We were talking about his clients, the Reed family. He's representing James Scott Reed's family, who was the victim of a no-knock warrant. I think it was back in 2019. And then we also had on, or still have on, hopefully with us, Nick Zell, who's also involved in the case of Mr. Marvin Guy, who was also the victim of a no-knock warrant, who, you know, basically used his Second Amendment right to defend himself and has been in jail, I've been told, since 2014, I'm sorry, with no trial. So we're definitely going to get you in touch, Nick, with Daryl on that. Okay, Flambeau S joined. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Sunday Sessions. And it's all legal too. Hopefully we can get Daryl on soon. So in the meantime, do any of my viewers that are logged on have any other questions that they want to try to have answered? Any comments? Just put them in the comment section. Definitely will try to get to you on those. Like I said, just try to, you know, shake things up a bit here on Sunday Sessions and just open the forum up to my viewers. So you all are my guests tonight. So I just want to say thank you for joining me as always. And like I said, the purpose of this platform is just to talk about the law from a lawyer's perspective. And as I said at the beginning of the show, that just about everything that goes on in life either is legally based or has some type of legal repercussions behind it. So no matter what you do, you can't escape the law, even if you try to. And that's just the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So again, I'm just trying to wait to see if Daryl will come back on. So next week, please stay tuned throughout the week. I usually put my promos up for my Sunday Sessions Saturday mornings. So just be sure to keep following my page. Tell your friends and family to follow my page at It's All Legal too, to stay up to date on what's going on, you know, in this country as far as the law is concerned, and stay up to date on my interviews and my Sunday Sessions. And here I've got Daryl that's ready, who was ready to come back in. Daryl, it says that you're unable to join. Why? Okay, hold up. Here we go. We are bringing him in. And you guys, I'm sorry, there's bad weather that's going on in the Dallas area where Daryl is. So he had to log off and log back on. But now we have Mr. Washington back on. All right, my brother. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Great, great.
Let's just wait. Let's just blame Sprint and T-Mobile on this fiasco. I've been having cellular problems ever since those two merged. So, but that's a different discussion for a different day.
We're going to blame them plus this weather. It's horrible down here right now.
Oh, gosh. You guys, stay safe up in the Dallas area. So I'm in Houston, and so it's just been, hot as, I'll get out, but that's just to be expected this time of the year. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. We were talking about the no-knock warrants, and you were giving us the information about James Reed Scott. I also had a gentleman that was on, he's still on, Nick Bezel. Or Bezel, I'm sorry if I'm saying the last name incorrectly, but he's been involved in trying to investigate, I think it was Mr. Guy's case, Marvin Guy. Are you familiar with that case, Daryl?
Yes, I am familiar with that case, and I heard Nick talk about this just briefly.
Okay.
And Nick is right. And we see, Janine, all the time. That's just some of the unequal justice that we deal with.
Right.
It's the same thing with these police brutality cases. We know that when the individual, when officers are encountered by a white suspect, we know that officers somehow are able to use their de-escalation training.
Right.
But when that suspect is black, somehow that training go totally out of the door. Right. And they shoot first and ask questions later. Right. But we've seen it happen just too many times. In Mr. Reed's case, when this first happened, they portrayed him as this terrible drug dealer in Killeen. And this is the one thing that I get so upset with the media about, because when we have these individuals who are victims of officer-involved shootings, the first thing that the media does is go into that person's background, a person that can no longer defend themselves. And that's what they put on the front page. And unfortunately, when people read the news and they see that one soundbite, people typically don't have any interest in the case anymore. That's why it's so much easier for us with the Botham Jean case or with the Jordan Edwards case, because there was nothing bad that they can say about these individuals. So everybody automatically got involved. But with James Scott's case, it was a very difficult case. Let me tell you something that was so very interesting in that case. In 99.9% of the cases I handle, Janine, the first thing that I review is the gunshot residue test. They always make that available to us because that is their way of being able to show that the victim perhaps was in possession of a gun. Okay. Well, in James Scott's case, James Reed's case, there's no gunshot residue test. So that was very, very suspect to us. Secondly, the Texas Rangers investigated this case. Okay. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with the
I am, because actually one of my clients who is an NFL player who was the subject of a bogus traffic stop last year, the DA's office, their internal investigation unit worked with the Texas Rangers to investigate the sheriff's department, who employed the officer that initially made the stop. So I'm familiar with,
Right. So in other words, the Texas Rangers is the unit that is typically brought in by cities when they want to make it appear as if there's some transparency, but they know or they're confident that they're going to bring in someone that's going to typically take the side of police officers. But when I went through that report and saw the investigation that was conducted, it was horrible. I mean, there was absolutely nothing that supported that Mr. Reed was in fact in possession of a gun when those officers decided to use the deadly force. Let me tell you what happened. One of the officers, Officer Custance, he's the officer who got terminated for falsifying the police report. What happened was this guy was on one side of the house while the other 3 or 4 officers were near the bedroom that Mr. Reed and his girlfriend were in. Well, Custon fired his gun multiple times for no reason. He claimed that he saw someone shooting the gun, so he decided to shoot. So it is our belief that when that officer starts shooting his gun, that the other officers start shooting their guns. So they had to get their stories together, and they tried to make it appear that the only reason they fired the shot was because James Reed fired at them. And it just made no sense at all, because if he fired shots at them, where are the shell cases? There's just no evidence that they were able to put into that report that suggested that Mr. Reed shot at them. They also said that he fired at them 2 to 4 times. Well, the evidence don't lie. All right. If he shot at them 2 to 4 times, the gun that was in his room should have not been fully loaded. So, you know, again, when statements don't match up to the evidence, we know that there is a problem. And we also believe, and I think we have enough of evidence to show that these officers conspired to cover up the crime that they committed on that early morning.
And that's typically what happens. I mean, because usually, luckily today that there is body cams that are available and we can get the body cam footage. But not all of these, incidents or murders that occur are caught on videotape by some bystander, right? So officers, typically and historically have been able to just make up the facts that basically support their version of the story. And the other person that was there, unfortunately, can't tell, their version of the story because they're dead. So it's kind of like just crazy. And it's just even more crazy that, these types of incidents keep happening. I mean, when is enough going to be enough? That's the bottom line. So, Daryl, where can, because I want to talk to you about another topic real quick because we have about 9 minutes left. But how can people keep up to date with the cases that you're handling? Follow you on IG?
Yes, they can follow me on IG at attorney. I think it's ATTY Daryl DAROYL Washington. You can follow me also on Facebook. I try to talk about the cases that we are handling. Janine, I say this all the time. The media and everybody talks about the George Floyd's case, rightfully so. We talk about the Breonna Taylor's case, rightfully so. But for every George Floyd or Breonna Taylor, there are thousands of cases happening throughout the country that gets no media attention that are just as important. So I say it all the time, we have to be able to focus our resources on more than just 1 or 2 cases at a time, because we are talking to these mothers and we are talking to these fathers and they're asking the question, well, why don't people care about our kids the same way? We try to tell them that they do, but we unfortunately don't control the media. But if you were to just look in Fort Worth, Texas, and look at the Jermaine Dorton's case, that was a case that was captured on body cam footage. It was the result of a no-knock warrant, and you can clearly hear Jermaine Dorton and everyone in that house saying, he can't breathe. So even before the Eric Garner case in New York, even before the George Floyd's case in Minnesota, we had Jermaine Dorton case right there in Fort Worth. So we have so many cases here in Texas that are happening each and every day. In San Antonio, Texas, with the Antron Scott case that we currently have handling. Charles Roundtree, 21-year-old kid who was shot and killed by a police officer. So it's just so many cases that go on each and every day. So I'm just so happy, Janine, that you are bringing attention to these cases, because we have to talk about them. I mean, the only way we're going to ever get some type of change is if we continue to talk about this.
Right. And then that's exactly what I've been, trying to tell, my followers and everybody else. That's the purpose of my platform, to try to bring awareness to these, cases, and to use this platform to talk about the law from a lawyer's perspective. And, for all of the cases that don't get media coverage, as soon as I, get information about them, I try to post them up on my page to try to bring awareness to that. Same thing with Javier Ambler's case. Another Texas case where he couldn't breathe. The police, he had a heart condition. Police totally ignored it, ended up dying. So it's just like, I don't know what it is about Texas, where these cases seem to be happening more and more. They happen all around the country, but for some reason, it seems to be a concentration of them here in Texas. So, you know, I appreciate all the work that you're doing to represent these families and to also use your platform to try to bring awareness and change as far as bringing an end to these senseless murders by these law enforcement officials. Because, like I keep saying, and I'm going to keep saying it, until these officers are held accountable, nothing is going to change, unfortunately. I mean, and that's just the bottom line. And so I just want to, you know, just give some shout outs to the people that are joining us here tonight. We have Bashir Hogue. Hello. He is an awesome vocalist. Welcome, welcome. Go Tree, join. Big Mike, 10, Tasha Parker, Turquoise Pipes. But also, Daryl, real quick, because you actually sent me a DM earlier today of a video. Is it where it's plies, right?
Say one more time, huh?
You sent me a video earlier where there was a gentleman on there that was talking about the fact that, you know, now these college coaches are coming out trying to basically persuade the families that their athletes, their children are safer on campus than they are at home. But where were these same coaches? Where was their voice? You know, where were the happy Twitter fingers in support of the Black Lives Matter movement when we had Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor going on? So all of a sudden there's a concern about the safety of these athletes, who the majority of them are African American, right? Because we know that college sports, you know, is a big moneymaker for these conferences, for these schools, right? So I just kind of wanted to, we have like 4 minutes left, but I kind of wanted to touch briefly on that. So what's your thought on that?
Yeah, and I think
it's up on Daryl's page as well as my page.
I think the guy name was Plies. Yeah, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right.
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry. You know, if I'm screwing it up, forgive me. But I know he's a activist and rapper as well. But
yeah, and the brother was coming up with some very, very good information. He said, you know, when the George Floyd case happened, and all the athletes were having their voices heard, and they were talking about we need justice. He said that the coaches were sending out, you know, tweet messages and perhaps emails saying that they support their players. But when it came time to get the players back to school to play football, you were able to see all these coaches in front of the cameras talking about they're going to be safe at school. In fact, they're going to be safer on the campuses than they are at home. And he said, well, if they can go on camera, make those type of statements to get players to come back to play football so that the NCAA can make the big dollars, then why shouldn't they get on the cameras and say, well, because we know that it's not safe for our players back home, we're going to fight with them, and we want our faces seen to show that we support the Black community in this fight against unequal justice. And we know that athletes and entertainers have so much power, because just years before, people were trying to take the flag down in Mississippi, and that went all the way up to the Mississippi Supreme Court, and there was no type of justice that they were able to get in that. But soon as the athletes got involved and said that we would not play football in Mississippi as long as that flag is flying, and what happened? It's history. It's gone. So
it's gone.
I think,
you know, that's what I say. These athletes have the platform. They have the ability. They have the voice. They have the ability to bring about change. And, you know, I just hope that more and more athletes will use their platforms and their voice to bring change and be supported by their coaches and be supported by the schools or the professional teams that they play on. So that's my hope.
They're not, Janine, this younger generation not playing, seriously.
Oh, no.
They got a chance. They got a chance to talk. Yeah, they got a chance to see us. We halfway tried to fight, right?
Right.
They taking it to another level. And the change that we're seeing right now is because of the energy level of this younger generation. But remember, Dr. King was only 30 years old when he was making this huge movement. So it's the younger generation that have always made the change. And now that they are flexing their muscle.
And Daryl, I'm sorry, we got about 15 seconds left. But I just want to thank you, my brother, for coming on. You are welcome anytime. I want to thank Nick Bazell. Also, thank you for coming on. Mike, Aurora, my whole team. Thank you. Thank you.